we couldn't even get time with our CEO for sustainability. So I'd hijacked our CEO's coffee break during a strategy meeting to say, like, let me pitch you 5 minutes on what we could possibly do. And I mean, honestly, I had no idea what to do. So I went and read sustainability reports by a few other companies in the fashion industry and outside the fashion industry and kind of got a sense of like, okay, these are some projects that we can start with. Yeah, I mean, I think it really varies by brand and what stage they're at and what their supply chain and what their product portfolio looks like. For us, we're primarily accessories. In 2018, when we started kind of putting together a plan, we ended up, we couldn't even get time with our CEO for sustainability. So I'd hijacked our CEO's coffee break during a strategy meeting to say, like, let me pitch you 5 minutes on what we could possibly do. And I mean, honestly, I had no idea what to do. So I went and read sustainability reports by a few other companies in the fashion industry and outside the fashion industry and kind of got a sense of like, okay, these are some projects that we can start with. Um, and that was already pretty ambitious. So we kind of got the green light and they were like, you can kind of move ahead. And it was like, oh, we need to replace big swaths of our materials. We need to audit our vendors and we need to look at, our carbon footprint as an organization. We need to look at our packaging and where we can, make savings across the organization and reduce waste. So I think those are the kind of big buckets. But in terms of actually actioning it, it can be tough. Like we were told, yes, go ahead, but we have a new creative director coming on board, so we need to wait for him to settle in. And we realized, by that timeline, it would be 24 months before we got anything going. So that's kind of where we pivoted into launching a new product category. And we were like, let's create this project and do things as sustainably as possible, and also show that we can be more cost effective, we can have higher margins and be more sustainable. And that way we can create a business case around sustainability. So that's something that we ended up starting with. So I think it really depends on the organization, how things are moving, that like where you get started in the fashion industry.
Personally, I think like professional educations and learning particular skill set are important. But I do think sustainability development or driving a company on sustainability journey, it requires a lot of practical and operations background and understanding so that the integration of sustainability development into your operation is long lasting. And like our previous conversation, our job day to day have to interact with a lot of cross department or different NGO stakeholders, supplier. So without a strong understanding of your society or your industry, it's quite difficult and challenging to even ask people to make change. So of course, we see there's a trend of more official and study and program on sustainability. But I do think those are like a supplement and specialize of area that you want to polish up and help your job. But in practical sense, I do think the youngsters should have their own specialty on a career, then you add on to the sustainability skill set so that it can make it in a wider scope and you can see through things that how to make changes. So having a degree alone on sustainability may not serve the purpose. That's from my personal perspective.
I think around communication, presentation skills are important because there's, as we said, like there's a considerable amount of education So having, either newsletter, being able to do good PowerPoints and pitches to convince people, various stakeholders or executives that you're working with. Um, so I mean, honestly, it's just practicing and knowing the people that you're speaking to and what their
Mm-hmm.
communication style is and being able to speak their language. So if you're speaking to a finance, or if I'm speaking to a finance person, I would speak to them slightly differently than if I'm speaking to a creative director about a sustainability challenge. Um, so I think there's that. There's negotiation and persuasion skills, which cannot be underestimated at all. Um, yeah, I think that's really helpful. I guess a shameless plug for Matters Academy here would be amazing. And there are a lot of fantastic courses out there on the internet, and I think it was taking the courses for me was just as much about building confidence as it was about actually getting the technical knowledge. It was the confidence that, like, hey, I could do it. Why not? Seeing inspiring people like Ruby on my course and seeing her kicking ass and what she's doing, and I was like, cool, like I should go out there and do it too. So I think it's building that community of like-minded people, building the confidence, and then kind of really working on those specific communication skills.
Great, thank you. Ruby, please.
Sure. To add on to my friend Jeehae, yeah, exactly. Joining those short course or certification course, on one hand, we sharpen our soft skills. At the same time, I think the most valuable thing is knowing the people so that we get inspired and encouragement. I do have to say that the journey of driving sustainability is challenging. I have to really be frank, and you will go through different emotional roller coaster, and that's where the EQ and negotiation skills kick in. It's about, why these people do not share the same understanding or different thinking. There's no right or wrong and no judgment. It's just about coming from different perspectives. Um, so for certain skills, I do think it's important, which include design thinking, circular economy kind of mindset that is so diverse and it applies to all sector and industry. Of course, the e-platform from ESG Matter was one of the amazing setup that I will be part of, and taking the soft skills and get connect with people. So I think reading magazine or article that you are interested in will also add extra value and insight or creativity that you want to drive to certain project or add in certain elements that will help our